If she put her hands on me, that shot would have been mine. That shot would have been mine. Hi, Op. The Ops are on. Hi, Op. Hi, Ops.
Can you hold my hands and be my guide? Clouds filled with stars cover your skies, and I hope it rains. You're the perfect.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, I'm actually recording from a different location. I've been kind of putting off making this video because I was like, ugh. Like, I don't, like, this is just so much to rehash. The story kind of takes place in 2017. It's a cosmetology school. I'm not gonna say any names because, you know, I don't wanna. In 2017, and I met with one of the teachers and she seemed very nice. She seemed very inviting. She seems very friendly. And at the time, this is before I had even transitioned. This is before any of that, but I was wearing wigs. I was kind of like still experimenting with my look at the time. For those of you who don't know, I am transgender. I was just finding myself at the time, pretty much. And I just wanted a space where I felt like I could be myself and just like really go to school and get the most of my education, which at the time I did. The salon where I went to school was a barbershop also. And I always felt like iffy about like the barbershop because I was not comfortable with who I was yet. So every time I'd have to walk past the barbershop, I always like be like, ugh. I always felt something in the pit of my stomach every time I had to go into the barbershop. Men and trans girls and how it's like a sin, like, you know, how barbershop talk is. I just never wanted to go in there. So yeah, I also feel that way with places like Foot Locker, and it's just, ugh, like, you know, it's just, I'd rather not go. So every time I had to go, I always used to have to like brace myself for anything because you never know who was in there and you never know what it gave. I wanted to give you guys that kind of background on the shop because I ended up being really cool with some of the barbers, and the people on the salon side I was cool with because one, I worked with them and I was a student for them. After school, I actually got hired with them. So as soon as I got hired, that's when I knew things kind of like changed and shifted between like my relationship with one of the bosses. Let me just give you guys like a rundown. I did have 3 bosses. Yes, I was working for 3 people who had their own set of clientele. Now, when I say their own set of clientele, I mean a lot of clients, okay? At least 2 of them had a lot of clients in which like I primarily had to service them and pretty much assist. In assisting them, I was also running a lot of errands for one of the stylists, in which I thought I was cool with her. I thought that we had a good relationship. I thought because we found a lot of the same things funny. She found me funny, I found her funny. I really liked going to work. I really enjoyed it because that was just the place I wanted to be. That was the environment I enjoyed. I enjoyed doing hair, and like it was just pretty much like I was around friends. When everything switched, I was like kind of like, what? Like, because in the back of my mind, I had heard things about one of the bosses and I was like, no, she was never mean to me. She was never this, she was never that. But around town, people were saying, oh, she's so rude, she's so nasty, she's a mean-spirited woman, she's evil to her parents, she's just evil and nasty to the people around her, and she's jealous of her friends. And I was just always like, no, she never acts like this with me. But if I look back and like really, really think about certain situations, child, the way I could say yes, yeah, I'm gonna just say that. I was running all over town, pretty much, well, the area in which we worked, to get food, to get clothes, to get candles, to get all types of things for this one woman, in which I really thought that I was doing her a favor. I thought she would be really appreciative of the things that I was doing because she was taking me away from the other stylist in there who needed help, who actually had a lot of clients herself. There was a rift being created between me and one of the stylists because I wasn't there to help her out. She would be annoyed that I would have to do things for somebody else when she would have a whole bunch of people, or even if I was helping this other stylist, the stylist I would have to run around for, she would be like, oh, are you almost done? Because I need you to go to Starbucks. And I'd be like, you don't see the 3 people waiting to get their hair done? And then she'd be like I wouldn't say this. I would be like thinking, I'd be like, there's 3 people here and your client is right there. And I need to start your client before you do anything because you're too lazy to start your own clients, especially if you see that we're busy. At least the other stylists in there, the other 2 stylists, they would at least start their own clients and not wait for me to do everything for them. And then they come in and curl their hair and then get the full amount. Like, you're not even like tipping out, or you're not even like giving a percentage of the money you've collected from pretty much 75, not even 75, 80% of the work that I did, and you're coming in and doing 20% and getting all of the income. Or you're getting all of the money, which was very unfair to me. I kind of started, you know, seeing that energy in which the stylists were getting annoyed that I would have to run everywhere for this one stylist, especially on days where it was busy. She'd be like, oh my God. Or if it was hot in there, she'd be like, oh, I need Starbucks. And I'd just be sitting there washing or blow drying or starting her clients for her or taking weave out or doing things. And then she would just be like, oh my gosh. And on top of that, whatever services that she did, like if she did a weave, the room that she did the weave in would just be a hot freaking mess. Like it would be like she stood in there and just like like a tornado went through that room. And I would just be so confused because she would expect me after it literally felt like she walked in and just threw things around. And she would expect me to just go in and clean up after her like I was her maid, first of all. So I'm running around all over town for you, getting you food, getting you drinks, getting you clothes, getting you this, getting you that, getting you this, getting you that, getting you that, and I have to clean up after you. Like the type of person that I am, I'm going to bury my feelings until I cannot bury it anymore, right? She is so lucky that I did not spaz on her one of these days because she would have got it so nasty. But I got ahead of myself a little bit. But the whole time that all of this is happening, I am in the process of like transitioning, doing a whole bunch of things, getting my insurance, doing this, going to school, and just like trying to just be me, essentially. At the time, I was still using my Zed name, and she kind of was like, for her and her father, who owns the barbershop that I was talking about earlier, she and her father were kind of like calling me Jay. Her father said it first and then she caught on. And then they kind of she kind of made the other stylist call me Jay. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of cool with Jay. Like Jay can be like a placeholder for my name whenever I decide to really go in and change my name or find the name that I really want. Was like really comfortable after a certain point because I was taking hormones, you know, becoming that girl, becoming that doll, and just being me. I was coming into my own pretty much. All of this is happening. The stylist is calling me she's calling me her. She's making sure that the other stylists know to call me she and her instead of he and him and my Zed name. She's being very proactive and she's just making sure that everyone is saying the right things, right? Keep that in mind. Time goes by of just the salon being busy, but you want me to do this for you, and you want me to do that for you, and you want me to do this, and I need to have all these other stylists, but you want me to do your whole services for you, and then you're gonna come in and take over at the end, and then you want me to do this for you, and then you want me to do that for you, when other people literally have clients in there, and they have multiple people. You want me to do one whole person for you. Then the other stylists were still getting annoyed, still like, what? Like, I don't get it, like, da, da, da. And then like, they would pull me to the side and be like, how much are you getting paid? Like, so then I'm just like sitting there and I'm questioning. I'm like, wait, am I getting paid enough to do all of these services for her? Like, am I getting paid enough to do all of these services for her? And I don't think I really was not, because I was getting paid hourly plus tips. I mean, I did make a pretty decent amount, but it was just like the amount of work that I was doing for this one person and doing the whole service pretty much, it just didn't make sense. Yeah, that was what's happening before COVID. After COVID, everything kind of like shifted when we had to wear masks. There was a lot of like mandates and like how we had to like wear all of this. I forgot what it was called, PPP, not PPP long. we had to put on like all of our gear like we were freaking doctors when we were literally just hairstylists. I'm starting to get annoyed because I'm doing all of the work for you and then you're just reaping the benefits pretty much. And I was just sitting there like, why do you constantly need me to run around town when there's just other things that need to be done in here? So I'm not saying anything at this point. Like me, I'm gonna get quiet before I get upset. That's just the type of person I am. I'm up, like it's building, so if I'm quiet, if literally the type of person I am, if I'm quiet, no, there's a problem. I like to talk, and if I don't talk, just know there's a problem. Ikya, ikya, ikya. I'm quiet, and the people in there are kind of noticing that I'm not talking as much, or I'm just like not expressing my personality as much. My energy is just kind of like depleting at this point, right? Mind you, this is from like 2017 to like what, 2021. So 2017 to 2021, it's not really being myself around these people anymore. Like as soon as like the other stylists who I have issues with now, I would just, like as soon as she came into the salon, I would just like, ugh. Like my energy would just go down because I know she's gonna run me up a wall, tell me to do a million things at once when I'm already doing like things. And like she would need me to do this, do that. Like, ugh, please. I was not with it because I'm like, you're just so, for one, you're very selfish because you want me to do all this for you when I'm already helping someone and you don't even wanna, right. When we came back from quarantine, I was just quiet all the way up until May of 2021. May of 2021 is the pivotal time. Is the pivotal point. So at this point, I had been hearing a lot of nasty things that she had been saying, not about me per se, but she would make like little slip things. Like she would talk about people and their bodies and this and that and this and that, like how they look like this, how they look like this, how they look like that. Or if they didn't have any plastic surgery, how they looked like they needed to go get some, or they needed to hit the gym, or they needed to do this. I remember one time she spoke about my body. Now, as a trans girl, you already know. I'm already. So I already have insecurities when it comes to my body. So I don't need somebody else to come out and point it out. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Because there's a lot of things I can say about your body, especially since you went and got work done. You got lipo, I don't even know if you got 360 lipo, baby, but you need to go back with them big ass arms and the big ass shoulders, baby. I'm trans, but your shoulders are bigger than mine, baby. Them shoulders is big with fat, baby. If you can't talk about people's bodies, especially when you went and got your body done and your body still ain't shit. If you want to be real. Your body still ain't shit and you just look goofy trying to talk about other people. So, next topic. I just really started to like see how nasty she was when she was talking about other people. And it just really turned me off towards her. And I just really like all the way kind of like shut myself off from her. And I didn't really speak to her anymore. I was just kind of keeping to myself when it came to her. Like if she asked me something, I'd be like, okay. Or if she'd be like, call my name, I would just not really say anything and I would just come to her and just keep it pushing. If asked me to do something, I wouldn't say anything and I would just do it. Mind you, this whole time, I'm pretty much the receptionist and the assistant and your personal assistant and an assistant to 2 other people and the cleanup freaking crew. Boogie. Not too much. Not too freaking much. These are literally glitter. Oh, you can't even see how glitter they are. At this point, she was just irking me and irking my spirit. Like I really didn't want to be around her anymore like that. She started being like gross to people. I just stopped talking to her really and didn't really want to like associate myself with her. I just really wasn't joking around with her. I wasn't really laughing at her jokes. I wasn't really doing too much with her, period. So it was just, I feel like she started to pick up and notice certain things. As in May of 2021, she called me into the office, right? I went into the office, the other stylist was there, and I was just like, oh, hey. I was just confused as to why I was in the office. And she pretty much said, we're going to offer you a different position so you don't have to be our assistant anymore. A commission stylist. She wanted me to become a commission stylist. I guess they agreed. Or one of the other stylists who didn't have as many clients, her friend, quote unquote, when you talk about her like a dog, she was your friend, she and her, like, she pretty much had her friend tell me all this information about being like a commission stylist when her friend was pretty much like a lap dog, or like she would just be like, do whatever she said. And it was just like, baby, why are you listening to this woman who's just so nasty to you? Like, why are you her friend? I didn't hang out with her outside of this establishment. Why are you guys friends? After they offered me a different position, I was just like, I'd rather just be assistant for the other stylist I was talking about before, who would get annoyed with me having to run all over town for this other stylist. I was like, I pretty much would rather work for her. And they had her on the phone because she wasn't there. And she was kind of dumbfounded and shocked that I said that, because I kind of dragged her into everything. I don't know how we got into talking about it, but I was just like, yeah, no, I just feel like our personalities don't go together anymore. Like, I just don't really like, I don't like our dynamic anymore. She said that it felt like I was her op. I'm always in opposition. Like, I always have something to say when she is telling me to do something. And I'm just like, that's just how I learn. Like, asking questions is how I learn. So I guess she wants people to be like her yes men and just kind of just let her walk all over you. Like, she wants you to let her walk all over you, pretty much. And like, I'm not that type of girl. After a while, I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, no, baby. I remember bringing up a point where I was like, something, you said that you were gonna beat my mom up or something like that. I don't remember. And she was like, I was like, it's a joke, da da da, or something. Like, I would though. And I was like, ew. Like, I was turned all the way off or something like that. So I was like, I kind of put a pin in it. And she was like, I put a pin in something too. And I was like, why are we going tit for tat? Like, you, at this time I was 22 and she was 37. So if you're 15 years older than me, you should not be trying to go tit for tat with me, baby. Especially when all of this is you. All of it, baby, is you. And also, I just wanted to add that after this meeting, her father came up to me and asked me how the meeting went, and he said it would be better if I didn't work for her because of her attitude. And this whole time, her father and everybody in the shop and everybody who kind of knows the people in there knew that two of my bosses, well, one of them was actually the worst, and she was actually a B-I-C-T-H, and in that order. So if your father knows that you're a B-I-C-T-H and in that order, then that should tell me or tell you everything you need to know. There were even times where her father had to step outside or was standing by himself and his daughter was walking away and he was just in full on tears, like covering his face and everything. And his daughter just didn't care. I remember they made me sign a paper saying like, oh, nothing bad happened, and I just wasn't working for them anymore. So then when that happened, I didn't have a job. Or I did have a job, I just wasn't working for them anymore. But I was just working and doing the same stuff with the other stylists, right? Mind you, May, we are good. June comes around. Actually, no. I think, what day was it? I remember June, I was going to go on a trip to Miami with some friends, and I got invited, and I remember we were cool, and we were cool when I came back from Miami. I was just working and doing the same stuff with the other stylists, right? Mind you, May, we are good. June comes around, I was going to go on a trip to Miami with some friends, and I got invited, and I remember we were cool, and we were cool when I came back from Miami. I think we went from the 14th to the 18th. We were cool. Me and my boss were cool. The old boss was cool. And I was cool with her before. I was cool with her when I came back. Then in August, I went to Mexico on a family trip. I went to Mexico, and then I realized when I was in Mexico that my old boss had blocked me on Snapchat, unfriended me on unfollowed me on Instagram, and I'm just like, oh, it's getting petty. Like, it's really getting petty, because it's like, what is making you so upset right now seeing me, or me being in Mexico and you being at home, baby? Because you be everywhere you go, you, oh, look at me, I'm over here, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing me, I'm over here, check me out, look at my outfit, baby. Nobody wants to say about you. Now, this is where some real stuff happens. Now, when she's coming into the salon, because I'm still working there at this point, she's not saying hi to me. She's ignoring me. She's not looking in my direction. And I'm still kind of keeping it cordial. I'm still saying hi, good morning, or I'm saying bye to her. And I'm just really keeping it friendly. Like, I'm keeping us cordial. Like, we don't have conversations. We're just keeping it cordial. I was just like confused because I'm like, what changed? What switched? So from this point, now it's back to my dead name, back to my old pronouns, and now I'm ugly. The new boss was telling me, oh, she said, why is that ugly bitch just sitting there not doing anything? She just lets, like, she doesn't see all this hair on the floor. She doesn't see this. And then it would literally be her, like, hair from her clients that she wants me to sweep up. Mind you, I'm just sitting there waiting because I already did what I had to do for the other stylist. And like, it's like, what else would you like for me to do while I'm waiting? So now it's name calling. Now it's childish behavior. And now it's all of this. Like, I'd ask her, oh, do you want something from the store? And she would literally ignore me. So I'm like, not asking you no questions no more. I'm not asking you, oh, do you want something from the store anymore? I'm just going to the store. And it's, oh, she doesn't ask me if I want anything from the store. So rude. Or he doesn't want to ask me if I want something from the store. He's so rude. He's so this. He's so that. So I'm just like confused because when my boss tells me this information, I'm just like, what is the point? Because when I asked you, you didn't say anything or you ignored me. So I'm just like finding it dumb to even ask if you want something from the store. Like, what? Are you, like, what? Are you dumb? Like, are you good? Like, what's going on in that 37-year-old mind? What's going on? What's going on, op? Hey, hi, op. The ops are on. Hi, op. Hi, ops. Why would I keep asking you something, especially if you're gonna ignore me? That didn't make any sense to me. So I just paid it dust. There was one Saturday when I was just minding my business after working and doing a couple of clients for my boss. I had washed them, prepped them for her, and I noticed that my old boss had went outside. And no, I noticed that my boss had went outside and then my old boss had went outside while I'm prepping the client for her. And I just see hands and this and that. And I'm just like, what? So the day continues. It's just weird energy in there. So then I leave, I say bye. And then when I have to come back to work, my boss calls me early in the morning. She says, don't come back because your old boss said she'll beat your ugly ass up and take you, like, she'll take you outside and beat your ugly ass out. She'll drag you out of the shop. I even skipped this one time when we were talking about Nicki Minaj being pregnant. This is before she even announced that she was pregnant. She said, she called me by my dead name and I was shook. And then I turned around and I'm like, I look at her in her face and I'm just like, I see that she's like, she sees me like seeing that she's feeling awkward. And she's like, is Nicki Minaj pregnant? I said, I don't know. Like, how are you trying to have like a conversation with me when you disrespect me? After you told everybody in the shop to call me Jay and call me she and her. And now it's back to he, him, and the dead names. Bookie, I don't get it. And my old boss even spoke to her and she was like, nah. You got me saying all of these pronouns, these and that, this, she and her, and this new name, and now you're gonna switch up? That's phony baloney, boo. Say, like, what you really got going on, right? She said that she was going to drag me out of the shop and beat my ass. I said, what? Is she crazy? Is she out of her mind? Because, what? It's never, first of all, it's never that serious for you to put your hands on me, Bookie. Like what? First of all, Put your hands on me, and that shop would have been mine. If she put her hands on me, that shop would have been mine. That shop would have been mine. And plus, you guys have cameras. Yeah, we would have seized those cameras and sued your ass. Took that shop and took that little Jeep you buy, that little Jeep truck. So you lucky you didn't do nothing, because baby, I know a good lawyer. And he's white, baby, so he'll take you for all that you got. And baby, will make it a hate crime? Yeah. 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 Make that shit a hate crime? Yeah. Yeah. I was like, what you really want to do? Like, since that day she said all of that to me, I have never set foot back in that shop. I have seen her once, and I've seen the other stylist who's her friend, quote unquote, one time. And when I seen the one who wanted to fight me, she was just staring at me from across the street. And I'm just like, bitch, I can feel your hot ass breath staring at me from across the street. I feel the breath. I feel the breath in the back of my neck. And when I spoke to her friend, she was just like, oh, hey. And she said, oh my God, to my sister, she said, oh, hey, I like your blonde hair. I love the blonde. And I said, because I hate fake energy. Fake energy gets me so tight, because it's like, why are you being like this when all you had to be was nice? Why, like, what's the point? I never did you guys wrong. There was one situation where I remember after she told my boss that she was going to drag me out of the shop and beat my ass, I remember I filed for unemployment, because now I don't have a job because you told me I couldn't come back. I filed for unemployment, this and that. I only filed for 2 months because I remember I got a letter in the mail or something about them like saying, oh, I shouldn't be getting it. And then they even went all of the way to the unemployment office and called the people and told them that I owed, because I should not be collecting unemployment from them. So they tried to mess me up with the unemployment office. Child, I had to speak with them, clear my name, say, oh, she said she wanted to fight me. It was a dangerous situation. I couldn't come back. And they said, you know what? We're just going to waive everything. So they really thought they had me there when they really didn't. That was, you know, pretty much like the story of how these nasty people tried to get the doll, but they never had the doll, because you can't catch the doll, because the doll is doll things. And when the doll is dolling, it's just dolls. Enjoyed this story. I hope it makes sense. If you guys need me to clarify anything, please comment down below. But yeah, no, I haven't seen that bitch since, any of those bitches since. Yeah. I hope that big back bitch, oh, sorry, I hope that big back woman is less miserable now. And I hope she finds peace, inner peace, and I hope her friend sees the light, because they're nasty spirited people. But anyways, bye.